Okay, so this okay.
Sorry, I'm just recording. I'll just 100%. Trim it.
Thank you. No, 100%. And we are moving to, there we go. Okay.
So I'll do an introduction, just explaining who I am, who you are, where we all fit in. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll just trim the. Sorry, there's a toothpick on the table, and I hope it's not used. And
your immune system is strong. I'm sure you'll survive it. So you're good. You're good.
We'll be okay. Yeah.
We will.
So yeah, I'll do a quick intro, and then explain the general concept of what we're doing and what we want to achieve, and then you can jump into your presentation. Oh, you can share. Let me just make you a co-host.
Okay. Yes, and let me just share screen. Fantastic.
Yeah, there we go. So then you should be able to share.
Okay, let's go there. I'm screen sharing. Thank you for that. Up and running. We are like old pros with Zoom, eh?
There we go, exactly.
And we'll be like that with eMeet as well. But in downtime, we'll exercise and we'll practice that.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Super.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, let me do the intro. So hey everyone, welcome to the Actualize Big Decisions, Big Fears presentation hosted by myself, Jared Irvin, and spoken by Toinette Fourie, or presented by Toinette Fourie, and she is the owner and executor at MeWeWork, where she works with corporates and individuals to manage themselves and manage themselves better in their own environments, to become better humans, better performers at work, and just work better with the people around them. So Toinette, welcome to Big Decisions, Big Fears, and I really hope that you're going to help us make better decisions in less time. And we look forward to working with you on the series.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate it. And I love how you pitch those two together. So no pressure in quality decisions in less time, quantity and quality. They're going with decisions, but those are the factors that we face. And I think that contributes quite a big deal towards the fears and then the decisions from there on. But let's dive into this. As we say, we're doing a very short, powerful session. And I'm going to first just give some background as to the nature of, and then which will be like less than 10 minutes. And then we'll move into what is the value of application so that we can take something away. So number one, decisions always, irrespective of who they are, affect me, we, and work. 3 areas of our lives. So it affects me, it affects the people around me, and it affects the work. The work is the outcome. It is professional or personal, and it normally, irrespective if I make the decision in my personal or professional world, it does affect the one and the other, the outcome. Our decisions are seated in a frame of reference, so we make our decision now based on what we have experienced or learned in the past or what we were taught, and that is not necessarily always profitable or suited, so we want to reconsider the base from where we make decisions. Decisions are never neutral. So irrespective of the decision that I make, and not to act is also a decision, even though I get to the conclusion that I know I need to act and I don't, that is still a decision and it's never neutral. So there's always either an unprofitable or a profitable outcome. So I either repeat old outdated outcomes and here I go again around the mountain, or I create new profitable outcomes. Decisions always have a consequence. Wow, profound information that you're getting here at the Actualize session. They are either intended or unintended consequences, and we don't necessarily think on these things. And that's the value, that once we deal with the fears, because those are the stumbling blocks, we can get to a better quality of decision so that we can think what could be the unintended consequence of our decision, and we can manage our risk better. We can also look towards what are the intended consequences so we can capitalize on what is the outcome of it. So that we are prepared beforehand, because there will be a lot of unknown, and that's the fun of it. That is the fun of it. I know that gives us a little bit of a knot in our stomach, but that is the fun of it. That's the excitement and the adventure of life. And now let's look at the building material, because this is our road. What is the building material that we're working with? And it is words. Words, that is what builds your thought processes, your mindset, and that is your self-talk, your beliefs, your self-esteem. So words have got meaning, and it's important that I acknowledge these to myself. So thinking on things such as I have to, that have to is stress-loaded, and that is not helping me to release the stress to get to a better place of making a quality decision. A better word choice there would be, I am choosing to make a decision. Even though I do acknowledge that time is of the essence, but just to use the appropriate word choice is going to help me and set me up in success already. So there's the first pointer for you, and that is that check your word choice so that one gets to a quality meaning that helps you. Let's rather say, I am choosing instead of I have to or I must. Definitions that have got power. Why are they so powerful? They give us a perspective on which position I'm taking in a situation. It tells me what power I am taking. It tells me what level of control I'm taking. So basically, a definition of a situation positions me in relation to other people, the circumstance, the whatever. And there's only two ways that I'm going to go on this. I'm either going to position myself in self-responsibility and taking control, or in self-pity. I know we don't like that word, but that is a fact of life. I either take responsibility or I disqualify myself for reasons X, judgment, blame, and that's what I start thinking, and those are not helping. Yes, actions have got consequences. We spoke about that, intended and unintended. So the mindset is important. We've just looked at the quality thereof, and let's just position the two against each other. Unprofitable decisions and profitable decisions. An unprofitable decision is a decision that I make, and here's a second tip for you and me this morning, and that is that do not make a decision when your mindset is filled with fear. What type of fear? Not the car's going to hit me, I'm going to jump out the road. No, that is wisdom that we were given. Fear of, oh, I'm going to look stupid. That's going to sound wrong. What's going to happen? Fear. Shame. No, what are they going to think of me? Oh, my word. No, I don't want to be humiliated. Shame. Guilt. Oh, yes, I know I've messed up here, and now weighing that guilt on me. And yes, I take responsibility for the self-pity. Go to self-responsibility. Don't park there. So when I've got fear, shame, and guilt weighing me down, this is not going to go well for me. Because what do? I abdicate control and I disqualify myself. What do I normally do? I go into judgment, blame, self-justification, excuses. A lot of these things might be valid, but you know what? It's not taking me forward. So where do I get stuck? In this mindset, I get stuck in a whodunit. I pinpoint, it's your fault, those type of things. And it's not helping me. And I see Jared is laughing because he's laughing at me because he's perfect and he doesn't see me making that. It's all me. Yeah. I am guilty.
It's never me doing anything wrong.
Well, buddy, that's my age group.
I always pin it on everyone else because it's much easier.
And they're willing to take it. Okay. So what do I do? A profitable decision. A profitable decision, what does that mind sound like? It is a mind that approves. It is a mind that says, you know what, I release. I said, I give myself permission. I approve myself to be successful. I approve myself of making a quality decision in a quantifiable time period. I acknowledge. So I acknowledge what is it that I can influence. And I accept what I cannot. This is a profitable mindset and a decision, the definition thereof. So my focus with this mindset, when I prove, give myself permission that we can do this, when I acknowledge what I can influence and what I can't, and when I accept that what I can't, I let it go. I look to what is possible instead of who done it. And this is the major shift from an unprofitable versus a profitable decision. Can you see that we are already moving away from this fear-based mindset into a faith-based, hope, wish, creative, what can happen mindset? Quick summary here. This is our last summary, and then we apply, is similarities and differences. All decisions have got risks. All decisions address people, systems, and or processes. All decisions are affected by time in terms of planning, organizing, leading as the implementation. We've got to start doing something at some point, and we've got to control. And that is, are we doing things as good as we thought or planned and achieving what we wanted? And then the last is resources. It affects resources, physical, where we work, what we do and what we use, information, financial, information, what we need, and HR, people. And you can see how that once again relates to people, systems, and processes. All decisions affect that. What are the differences? When I look to risks, the unprofitable mindset looks at what happened in the past. The profitable mindset says, where do we need to go? What is the outcome expected? It's got a future view. When we look at the people, systems, and processes, unprofitable mind goes to who's at fault and that affected the systems and the process that messed this whole thing up. Who is that one? And then the profitable mindset says, how best can the system and the process serve the people affected? Yes, we've got to solve a situation. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. We cannot put him back together, but we can make scrambled eggs. Please get your plates and set ready for breakfast. So time is the next one. That looks to how do we deal with planning, organizing, leading, and control. Unprofitable mindset. That forces us into a must happen now. So, and that's an unrealistic thought. Profitable mindset. It says, what is the first step towards action? You can also say, what is the smallest step to action? So here's the third tip for you. In a situation where these two are at each other's throats, which is the fear and the decision, ask self, breathe. What is the smallest step I can take toward action? Quite often, that is going to be a word choice, a mindset that you're going to adopt. And then lastly, in terms of resources, the unprofitable mind set is in terms of getting the most resources, regardless if you need it, because you're in a panic state. Just hoard, want to get. However, a profitable mindset says, how can we capitalize on the resources, the available resources in concert? So how can we leverage? And here's our application. In general, there are many beliefs, oh my soul, so many universal beliefs, but we can categorize the many universal beliefs, meaning that all people means you, me, and everybody that is not included in this call at the moment, have got these beliefs. And some of them will stand out as a theme for you, and you might want to kick yourself realizing that, well, please don't do that. We are just going to get over ourselves, take a discipline, lie on the bed, get over yourself, and say, how can we do this better? The typical universal beliefs are, it is hopeless. I'm helpless. I can't do this. It is useless. Why bother? I'm blameless. This is the self-pity versus self-responsibility. I'm worthless. So, me, I can't add in. Can you see that? What do? We disqualify ourselves. Why? Fear, shame, and or guilt is party of this mindset. So what do? We move to the other side. How do we do it? Questions. So I ask self, how is it possible? What do I already know about the situation? So I explore information. I ask, how is it desirable? Yeah, I start tapping into my motivation. Toinette, how desperately do you want this? The fear is there, it's real. The risks are there, it's real. They are real. However, how desperately do you want it so that you say, I am going to tackle the unintended and the intended consequences. I'm going to think it through, but how much do I want this? And then how am I responsible? So that I don't just dive into it. It is a level-headed process of thinking it through and deciding for self, where do I position myself? What is my perspective? What is my definition of the people involved, of the systems, of the processes, of the resources? What can I use? How can I bring this in concert? And then how do I deserve it? How does this serve me? And what do I bring to the table? I'm not worthless. What do I bring to the table? I might not be on the level of expertise that those around the table are, but what do I bring? And that is a quick summary. I'm going to jump these couple of slides just quickly because it's about awareness and adapt. What have we become aware of in terms of the fears that I allow and maybe not aware of that are keeping me back? And those are the thoughts, the words, the definitions that causes the consequence, the actions of fear, shame, and guilt. And how do I adapt? How do I move to changing that? And what I want to leave you with is this. Do not be afraid of your mind. Do not believe every thought you think. Think it out, explore it, visualize it, put it on paper. And this is how we come to an understanding of how do I define my situation, and you are equipped to walk it out and figure out a way forward. Do not believe every thought you think. You will come to a profitable outcome. Thank you. I would love to hear your take on that. What is your view? Any question or comment?
I have many questions and comments, but I think it's not for today.
We'll set a session aside. So yeah, there we go.
Oh, that was very good. Yeah, if you want, we can quickly jump into a few of my key thoughts around what you shared, because yeah,
Yes.
I think on one hand it helps to be vulnerable and to be able to share like some of my current things that are happening, and then also like using these different mindsets in the past, and how I've seen a change for myself. So yeah, just on the ending note there, do not believe every thought you think. I mean, I think one of the things that I frequently think about is, am I doing a good enough job? You know, am I like, you know, am I keeping on top of everything? Am I doing the best I can, or is there more that I can put out? And yeah, so I think in terms of fear, the thing is, we always I always fear that I'm not doing enough to satisfy all of my needs and everyone else around me's needs. So I don't know if you want to jump into that.
I want to jump in on that to add to that, Jared, is, well, number one, a key thing that you shared there is vulnerability. Wow. Because that is the shift. Because that's where I become real in terms of what I've got and what I haven't, or what I need, and so on. So that's the one thing that, thank you for that. I take that away. And the other thing is that I would like to comment on is the needs. If I may reflect on you personally, so thank you for putting yourself out there, is that's one of your strengths. Whatever you say and whatever you do, there's always a needs-based approach. There's always how can I add value? How can I make this change? How can I advance this for another person. That's always what I hear, irrespective of what you discuss or what you propose or in general, just the way that you go about things. So that's the one thing. And then I want to just add this as a comment, that observation is that a strength can also be a downfall, because it's about those, and then one trips yourself up when it's, those seasons arrive where it is time for you to acknowledge yourself as a priority. I don't like that thing about putting yourself first. That is such a, I think it doesn't say what it's supposed to say, but there's a season where you need to acknowledge that you need to be a priority in terms of doing what you're doing, and to be able to continue doing the strength that you've got, and that is, which is looking out for other people's needs. So that's just a comment that I would like to put out there. And I think if I can put it in context with this, when we talk big fears, big decisions, is a big fear that might arrive, and we'll discuss that as we go along. There are various things that create us to fear. It might be that I want to do this best for others, and what are they going to think that so I won't be doing enough. I'm taking your words there. I'm not doing enough for them, so this is not good enough. And then I go back to decisions, and I make unprofitable decisions, because actually my definition and my perspective of what is reasonable to do for others was maybe not well thought through. So and it's valuable to have one brain come alongside another brain, and let us just check in with each other like this. So that's what I would like to comment on. Thank you for sharing that.
That definitely helps. And I think what you touch on there is the value of teamwork. And if you had to look at whether it's a marriage or whether it is colleagues working together on a project, or anything like that, I think a lot of the fears come in where we, like, and I know from university days where I would fear that other people didn't put in their part, instead of setting. So as we progressed through university, some people, I suppose, some of us learned, some of us didn't, but we learned how to define the roles and say, okay, this is what you're in charge of, this is what you're in charge of, and holding them accountable to that, and say, okay, this is going to be profitable for us all, because we can collectively do the best work possible for this group project. Whereas, and that's I think where you learn how to work together, and which is good for the working environment. But when you get to the working environment, then you're working on 10 different projects, and then the roles become blurred, because Johnny's doing this and Sarah's doing that and Piti's doing that, and then you get to another project and then they swap roles a bit, and it's hard to define. So I think keeping each other accountable on those parts, and being decisive or taking decisive action on that, is really, really important, but also difficult to do because of the fear. If your beliefs are limited, then you're going to be fearful that other people aren't pulling their weight, and then you're not going to pull your weight, so your decision to not pull your weight is because of what you think other people are not doing. And I know that sounds very complicated, but I think that's what we're going towards with big decisions.
I hear knock-on effect. So there's a knock-on effect in terms of our one decides in terms of the rest, and that was a great example, because that's typical. That's typical what we experience. Typical. Great summary.
So that's very cool. Something to definitely think about, and I'll be thinking about my thoughts as well a little bit more after this.
Let's think about our thoughts, because that's true. We don't think about our thoughts. We just have them and mull them through, and just repeat them.
Shame. Thank you so much for your time and for this, and we look forward to seeing you next week for another some more decisive action tips. Is there any closing comment from your side?
I would like to say, invite a trusted other to check in with you, to just help you keep on track with your thoughts. Invite a trusted other to just check in with you, to just help you observe your thoughts. Like you've said, be vulnerable.
Awesome. Yeah, that's very helpful. Thanks so much, Tonette. We'll see you next week, and hopefully a few others will be joining us.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for all your effort, Jared, and keeping it together and keeping it cool. Everything was falling off my plate on this side, so thank you so much.